Health so far outweighs all other blessings of life that a truly healthy beggar is happier than a sick king. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. If he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. Whoever attaches a lot of value to the opinions of others pays them too much honor. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. You should be careful not to form a very favorable opinion of a person at first acquaintance. Otherwise, in most cases, you will have to be disappointed. The more we look forward to anything, the less we enjoy it when it comes. Life is short, and truth works far and lives long. Let us speak the truth. Never dare to rely on your relatives, because expecting something from others makes you dependent and weak. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Great men are like eagles and build their nest on some lofty solitude. Reading is equivalent to thinking with someone else's head instead of with one's own. I've never known any trouble that an hour's reading didn't assuage. From the point of view of youth, life is an endless future. From the point of view of old age, it is a very short past. Each day is a little life, every waking and rising a little birth, every fresh morning a little youth, every going to rest and sleep a little death. A pessimist is an optimist in full possession of the facts. To overcome difficulties is to experience the full delight of existence. Wicked thoughts and worthless efforts gradually set their mark on the face, especially the eyes. It is in the treatment of trifles that a person shows what they are. The wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done just the opposite. Fate gives us the hand, and we play the cards. Happiness belongs to those who are sufficient unto themselves. A man can do what he wants, but not want what he wants. The clever are not so much looking for loneliness as they avoid the fuss created by fools. If we were not all so interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. Life is given to us not to be enjoyed, but to be overcome, to be got over. Don't tell your friend what your enemy shouldn't know. If we suspect a man is lying, we should pretend to believe him, for then he becomes bold and assured, lies more vigorously, and is unmasked. There is no doubt that life has been given us not to be enjoyed, but to be overcome, to be got over. Money is human happiness in the abstract. He then who is no longer capable of enjoying human happiness in the concrete devotes himself utterly to money. Willpower is to the mind like a strong blind man who carries on his shoulders a lame man who can see. The first 40 years of life give us the text. The next 30 supply the commentary on it. It is a clear gain to sacrifice pleasure in order to avoid pain. Sleep is the interest we have to pay on the capital which is called in at death, and the higher the rate of interest and the more regularly it is paid, the further the date of redemption is postponed. It's the niceties that make the difference. A man's face, as a rule, says more and more interesting things than his mouth, for it is a compendium of everything his mouth will ever say. The young should early be trained to bear being left alone, for it is the source of happiness and peace of mind. Whoever violated trust once loses it forever. Happiness belongs to those who are sufficient unto themselves, for all external sources of happiness and pleasure are by their very nature highly uncertain, precarious, ephemeral, and subject to chance. It is better to find your mind in silence than in conversation. A vain person should know that the good opinion of others which he so achieves is much easier and more true to create by silence than by talkativeness. You generally won't lose a friend by turning them down for a loan, but very easily by giving it to them. We can come to look upon the deaths of our enemies with as much regret as we feel for those of our friends, namely when we miss their existence as witnesses to our success. Obstinacy is the result of the will forcing itself into the place of the intellect. The man never feels the want of what it never occurs to him to ask for. To live alone is the fate of all great souls. The doctor sees all the weaknesses of mankind, the lawyer all the wickedness, the theologian all the stupidity. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. In our part of the world, to marry means to have one's rights and double one's duties. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. We will gradually become indifferent to what goes on in the minds of other people when we acquire a knowledge of the superficial nature of their thoughts, the narrowness of their views, and the number of their errors. A man's delight in looking forward to and hoping for some particular satisfaction is a part of the pleasure flowing out of it, enjoyed in advance. but this is afterward deducted, for the more we look forward to anything, the less we enjoy it when it comes. If they gossip about you, it means that you are enough not only for yourself, but also for others. Compassion is the basis of morality. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. We seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. Ordinary people merely think how they shall spend their time. A man of talent tries to use it. No one knows what capacities for doing and suffering he has in himself until something comes to rouse them to activity. Boredom is just the reverse side of fascination. Both depend on being outside rather than inside a situation. In action, a great heart is the chief qualification. In work, a great head. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Religion is the masterpiece of the art of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. The majority of men are not capable of thinking, but only of believing, and are not accessible to reason, but only to authority.